Hey, this is Dad Random, and I would love for you to consider the Moza Mini S for your gimbal of choice this year. This thing has just about everything you want. It's got active track, it's got all kinds of awesome bells and whistles, everything you'd ever need to basically do vlogging, and of course it will up your game by having you use the best camera that you have available to you, which is your cell phone, guys. We forget that the cell phone is part of our tool bag, and we just totally forget about it because we're talking about it and we're basically doing all kinds of stuff with it, but we're not taking pictures with it. Guys, the Moza Mini S, yes, vlogging tool. All right, here we go. This is Dad Random, and I have a product in store for you today that I want to show you. Once again, this is a gimbal system. And this gimbal is called the Moza Mini S, right there, the Moza Mini S. And the Moza Mini S is supposedly a small gimbal. I will give you a comparison with this gimbal in just a second, but let's just look at it. This is not meant to be an unboxing, but unboxing we are doing. So here it is. Here's the Mini S. It basically comes in a nicely packaged container, and here it is. Here's the Mini S. It's a nice hand. It feels good in your hand. This is a nice handheld gimbal system, coming with a pouch. It comes with a USB-C charger, which is very nice. I think that's a plus. This one also comes with a included tripod. So there you go. That's always, if you don't get a tripod, I think with one of these systems, it's really not as good as another one. I think that's just a simple, very easy way of adding some value to whatever you're trying to sell. But there it is, the Moza Mini S. Quickly unbox. This, of course, does also have a charging port. This is a USB-C charging port right there, and you would have to supply the adapter to go to whatever phone you use. So if you use a Samsung phone, if you use an Apple iPhone like I use, you'd have to get an adapter for the charging port. So here you go, Moza Mini S. Some basic features of the Moza Mini S. We're going to do a little bit of side-by-side comparison. Not much, because we really don't want to compare. This is kind of a I would call the middle gimbal class. This one is foldable. Most people look at the foldability factor when they make a decision. This is more your traditional gimbal arm arrangement. The swing arm, the rotation and tilt axis arms. This one also comes with, this is a little joystick. This is a function selection button. And this does also have, if you look at the side here, this is the zoom. Now you can, this zoom is kind of interesting because you can double tap the zoom and it will slowly zoom in or slowly zoom out automatically, so you don't have to hold on to the button. Power switch, USB-C charger, which is super handy. This is about a 5-hour working time, which is plenty because none of us ever work with a gimbal system very long. And when it comes to like long periods of time, we're always turning it off or turning it on. It does have a standby mode that you can put it into. Now I'm going to check through the specs now. The spec sheet is not printed with it, but I made one just to make sure we cover the basics. So you can print out the PDF of the spec sheet. Most of the reviewers that have done this have already kind of taken care of a lot of what I would consider to be the important facts. But I'm going to give you my personal impressions of this this gimbal. One is it's really smooth. It's a very smooth system. So when you install it, and I'm going to use my phone for as an example. It of course has to be removed from any case. that just depends on how slim your case is. Most of us prefer to have cases with some kind of with a little bit of with a little bit of heft, and of course this protects our phone, but it also allows for us to have a little more grip. So do not expect to use this when you are using your gimbal. You're going to have to take it off. Powering it up, very simple. I'm going to go ahead and just I'll power it up here. Holding down the power switch, making sure you have making sure you already have it balanced. And there you go. It's very simple. Now, I prefer this to some of the other gimbal devices because this one has a very long reach and range of motion, so you really can really test the angles of it, and it doesn't interfere with the arm that's stabilizing it. The stabilizing arm really gets to be free. A lot of people talk a lot about the handle of the gimbal. They said that it's plasticky. Well, it's made of plastic, but I'd say that the heft of it or the width of it really makes it nice. It feels good in your hand. It does have a surface here that gives it a little bit of a non-slip, but it does have the trigger, so it allows you to manually adjust basically up and down, so you really can get those vertical and low horizontal angles. I really like the joystick. So if you look at the joystick function, I'll go ahead and put it right here, and of course there's the joystick function, and it is very smooth. I'm very impressed. Now this right now is retailing for about $100, I'd say, if you want to find it brand new out of the box. This one was bought used. I paid $59. So there's enough of them out there. What that's really meaning is that there's enough products out there that there's some heavy competition. So $59, you can't beat it. So the more I play with the Moza Mini S, the more I start to like it. I guess I have to compare it to things like the super small Fayuntech and the Snopa Atom and the DJI Mobile 3, but this one has enough size to it that it doesn't it doesn't have a cheapness to it. You still get the big gimbal kind of motions with it, and you get I guess you get a lot more. I'd say smooth control, because the whole purpose of it is to have a lot of smooth control. So the Moza Mini S, I believe, for the budget version of it, it's high on my list. I really have not. I can't say much bad about it, with the exception of a little bit of build quality, but that's about it. I mean, this thing does everything. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you those things that it does really well. And we're just going to go through some menu items, some things I picked up quickly as I started to use this thing. Some basics about it so far that you might want to know is, yes, it can hold the larger phones. The payload is 260 grams. As far as weight is concerned, it's 498 grams. So I'm just reading right off the spec sheet. And it has as many functions as you could ever want to add to a product like this, meaning that you've got your specialized functions within the gimbal arm itself. It has complete control. It's got a controllable menu. It's got auto zoom, things like that. As far as charging time, battery consumption, it does have a little bit lower battery life than some of the others, but nothing that's significant. So let's get using it. Let's get using it, and let's have a little bit of fun with it. So real quickly, let's go ahead. Let's get the phone on quickly. We'll hook it up. Now, most of these devices hook up really quick through Bluetooth. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and get the Bluetooth. The app is called the Moza Mini app. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn on my screen capture. Go ahead and get my phone screen capture going. All right, so we're going to go ahead and click on the Moza Mini app. And we're going to make sure that we're connected. It says device is connected, and there we go. It's just about that fast. For you to view, you'll see that it's very intuitive. Let's go right into the menu settings. And now we can use the buttons on the gimbal itself to activate the menu. You click the top button, which opens up the menu, and then you can toggle through lens settings, output formats. I've set it at 1080p. It can be set all the way if you want to go ahead and toggle that, and you can set it all the way up to 4K 30, I believe. Let me go ahead, and there's 4K 24 and 4K 30 right there. Let's go ahead and if I want to, let's go set it back to 4K 30, because that's what I'm going to, or 1080 30, which is what I'm going to use. Go ahead and click that. But some of the other menu items, this one also has the flash function. There's my anti-shake function, so it does have, it does compensate for movement built into the app. It does have a manual mode. I just like to click on the screen since it's right there. Now this is going to give me my full manual mode that I would have. Go ahead and just use that. For functional use sake, it's just as easy to use your finger since it is. It's just right there. I really don't see the need sometimes to use the menu buttons, but some people might. So here's some filter options that are built in. You can basically change the different screen options right from here. Let me go ahead and get back into there. I keep messing around here. There's the anti-shake. There's the manual function. Now the manual function will toggle the manual screen settings, which for a lot of people that like to set their camera up manually, it allows for that to happen. I've got basically in forward setting. Let me go and switch it over. Let's go do some, let's see, we got, there's a live stream setting, and yes, I can set it up to basically do live streams. Now, if I want to switch from front to back, 3 clicks, and it should basically switch. There's my camera options. Go ahead and get out of there. That's something called inception mode. So this allows you to basically turn your camera. A lot of people might think that's a novelty. All right, we'll change that out. Let's go ahead and I want to get, there it is. There's my manual mode finally showing up. Gosh, that took a second. I don't know why that did that. Go ahead. Maybe it's because I didn't push enter. So let's go ahead and let's go through those menu items again. So there's my flash function. There's my manual mode. Click on. Okay, now that one turned it off. Let's go ahead and do that again. Let's get it on manual because I want everybody to see the manual setting. Let's go ahead. We'll click that. We'll go down to the manual operation. There it is, manual mode, hit enter. There we go. And you can see all your isolation settings. You can click on them. So once you get that set, you can completely control the cameras. There's my filters. These are pre-built filters. Now this is the zoom function that you do not get on some other ones. This one will connect right into your phone. There's of course your zoom, and if you double click the zoom, it will zoom in all the way as a double click to 8 times, and if I double click, it'll automatically go back. Let's go back into the menus. Camera modes. So now I can go and change my modes from here, and now I can go into video mode, time-lapse mode, and advanced time-lapse. Here's your reference lines. If you want to turn on your reference line tools, you can go and do that. And you can see right there I've got my reference tool. There's my, so I can do my rule of thirds. There's my asterisk. And then here's my photo grid. Let's go ahead and click on the photo grid here. And then this one is the combination if you want all those lines in there. And the one thing I do like about, oh, there we go, we got the football scores. What I do like is that they're very light on the screen, so they're not very noticeable. And go ahead and you can turn those off. Right there is basically my screen reduction. Okay, I can go back, and I can go back into camera mode, and I can go ahead and I can go into manual right there where it says full screen preview. There we go. So we can go and reduce that. So that's if you want to basically see, you know, more of your and use more of your phone screen, you know, especially the you know, if we wear glasses, it's nice to be able to see things in full view. As you can see, I'm battling a little bit with the menus today. Now these filters, these are your filter selections. Now I'm gonna hit M2. These are supposed to soften up, and there we go. Yeah, now they're working. There's your sentimental. This one's halo. So the menu system, like I said, it's built in. Has a lot of built-in features. So you know, some of those things, you know, many of them are novelties. A lot of the filtering that we do, you know, if you can see, as I switch out filters here, as you can see, some of those filter selections, they're just ones that would be fun, but we could always do that in post-production. So I always say, you know, instead of putting a filter on, I would just do your filming raw, and then you can always filter later. But I really do like that you can do some handy filtering. So that's kind of fun. So there's your filters. We've got in your menu system, we've got the zebra pattern. You know, that'll allow you to see if you've got blown out areas in there, so you can add your patterning. You see for your exposure levels. I want to turn that zebra off because I really don't like that. I can do that on my own. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that zebra pattern off. You've got a lot of controls in here, and probably the one that would be most interesting to most of us is the time-lapse features, which is really simple on this one. I love doing time lapses. This one allows for you to really do your time lapses very smoothly. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set this up for a really quick time lapse, and it can be as simple as I hold down the bottom button, long press it. Now, when I long press the bottom button right here, which is this button right down here, it automatically put it into an advanced time lapse mode. So I can now, you can now see there's the advanced time lapse, and I can now start to basically set up my time lapse. So by clicking on that, I get a menu, and the menu looks just like this, and it's very simple. You hit got it. I'll click my different menu locations. So where do I want it to basically focus on, and that's where my time lapse will go. So I can go ahead, I'll go ahead and I'll hit, this is position 1. I'll hit, that's position 2. This will be position 3. And then of course I can add any other positions I want. I can go up or down, and I can, this one allows, I believe, 4 or 5 positions, and then you hit next. Once you're done, it asks for your shutter intervals. You try to keep those even. I would say if I was going to do 1 second intervals, I would like to have, and that's your total duration and time. The longer your time lapse, you can start upping your shutter intervals. It just depends on how much activity you want in it. So I'm just going to do, let's do a really short one. So let's do a 1 minute with a 1 minute time duration with 5 seconds. We'll go ahead and we'll put this down. And just so you can see from the front, you'll watch the gimbal in action, and it's going to basically look for those positions that I told it to find. And it's doing a really quick, and you can see it's moving slowly. Now these are really fun to do, and they're very easy. And it's pretty much that simple. We'll go ahead and let it finish through its interval. Now it's going to go back, and it'll also start to tilt up to those positions that I wanted to tilt up. Now, almost all of these gimbals will do that. Even the very small, lightweight, the low budget gimbals that are like this one. This one's the Feiyun Tech Vlog Pocket. But the Moza Mini is very, very good. I really enjoy it. I really think it's a good product. I do prefer that over the smaller one. Now this one, if I didn't know if I was going to use the gimbal that much on a trip, I might go with the smaller one for size. But this one is much better for stabilization. This one has some issues when it comes to the arm. It gets in the way a little bit sometimes. But it's just if you're an operator, you're just going to have to deal with the limitations of any of your tools. So it's now finished. So I can go ahead and double click, and it now is going to go back to the center position. Pretty simple. And now I can play any of those the video if I wanted to. I can go ahead and just turn it towards you. I'll go ahead and click on my time lapse right there, and there it is. And hit play, and there's the time lapse. That was a very short time lapse, just a minute long. Most of us want to go, I'd say for a minimum time lapse, I would go for at least 4 or 5 minutes. Now you also can do the motion lapses. You can set this up and you can walk with it and do the hyperlapse, and that's very simple to do. Let's go back into the menu system for a hyperlapse, for example. I would go to advanced, where it says advanced time lapse. I would go ahead and I would go exit advanced. Let's go to, I want to go to, let's see, there's a video, there's my time lapse, there's my advanced time lapse. I would just go into my plain time lapse, click on it, and now I can basically I can go ahead and push my regular record function, and it would be recording me as I move through a certain period of time. And then of course I would stop it, and then I would take that time lapse and break it up. But pretty easy, very functional, very simple. Does this have any, like I'd say, like like specialty shots that it does? Let's go look through the menu and see if it has a specialty shot. So we'll go ahead and hit the menu button. I'm going to go through and look at its, let's see, there's manual mode, there's frames, filters. I would say probably one of the biggest advantages of this one is it does have a live mode. You can actually take your live stream numbers, basically your live stream ID, poke it in here, and yes, you can live stream through this app. But I guess you could just turn on YouTube and live stream usually just through your YouTube app. But this does allow for you to have camera control within a live stream. This one also allows you to hook up a Bluetooth microphone. So if you're vlogging and you want a Bluetooth microphone, but you could also do that, for example, through your regular camera app. There's a sound meter, a sound gradient meter that's basically on. There's my lens setting. Now this takes into consideration my phone. So I can now use my dual lens for my, so I can go dual lens and use my dual lens. I can go wide angle. And now it's wide angle from my phone, from my iPhone. And I can also use my telephoto lens. So now I can, not only can I use telephoto, I can use telephoto with a 8x zoom, so I literally could look into my eyeball, but you can see the pixelation, so you get the screen door effect when you do that. There we go. So I would rather have the phone take care of that using the camera lens. Go ahead and let that come out. But that's kind of fun, isn't it? So there you go. I'll go ahead and put that back on. So the Moza Mini, I'm going to go ahead and get you guys some samples so you can see basically how smooth the Moza Mini is. There it is. You can't really go wrong with this one. I think price, I paid used, I paid $59. You can get this in a refurbished state, probably through Amazon for between $60 and $70, and brand new it'll probably cost you about $100. Almost all these gimbals are going to be about $100 brand new, but they will change the way that you use your phone. They will allow you to use the best camera that you basically have, which is your phone. Your phone is the best camera that you have. So for Dad Random, guys, go and check out the Moza Mini. Get this thing if you're interested in a budget gimbal. That the price is right now. This has full functioning. It basically has a nice breakdown. Let's go ahead and break it down for you guys. Let's go ahead and take this thing apart. Let's break it down, take it and put it away just like we would use it in the field. Put my phone back in its case, of course. And there we go, we'll lock the arm. We'll take this button right here. Basically put it down, take off the handle, and there it is. So for Dad Random and the Moza Mini S, guys, it is an awesome vlogging alternative. If you need something small and you want to throw something in your bag, of course it can be put away in this handy pouch that it comes with. We'll go ahead and put it away. This nice pouch that will basically keep it safe. You can throw this right into your gear bag. Bam, you are out of here. So for Dad Random, yes, the Moza Mini S. Yes. Guys, your phone is your best vlogging camera. Remember that. Don't forget your phone. It is your best vlogging camera. For Dad Random, Moza Mini S. Yes.